Good morning, everyone. My name is Dr. L. Jayanta Rebecca. Today, I'm going to give a lecture on Introduction to Greenhouse Technology. Lecture is divided into 4 aspects: the definition of greenhouse, history of greenhouses, scope of greenhouse around the world, and finally, the development of greenhouse in India. What is greenhouse? It is a structure with walls and roof made chiefly of transparent material such as glass, polythene, or plexiglass, and in which the plants requiring regulated climatic conditions are grown. The structures range in size from small sheds to industrially sized buildings. A miniature greenhouse is also known as a cold frame. The interior of a greenhouse exposed to sunlight becomes significantly warmer than the external temperature, protecting its contents in the cold weather. Many commercial greenhouses or hothouses are high-tech production facilities for vegetables, flowers, and fruits. The glass greenhouses are filled with equipment, including the screening installations, heating, cooling, lighting, and may be controlled by computer or optimized conditions for the plant growth. So the plants are grown inside the greenhouse under controlled conditions. Different techniques are then used to evaluate the optimality degrees and comfort ratio of greenhouses, such as air, temperature, RH, and vapor pressure deficit, in order to reduce the production risk prior to the cultivation of a specific crop. What is the difference between greenhouse and the greenhouse effect? Why it is called? Why the term greenhouse effect? The greenhouse effect is a process that occurs when gases in Earth's atmosphere trap the sun's heat. This process makes the Earth much warmer than it would be without any atmosphere. A greenhouse is a building with glass wall and a glass roof where plants are grown. Inside a greenhouse, it is warm even during the winter. In the daytime, sunlight shines into the greenhouse and warms the plants and air inside. At night time, it is colder outside, but the greenhouse stays warm inside. It is because the glass walls of the greenhouse trap the sun's heat. So this is the picture representation about the greenhouse effect. So here it is shown from the sun, the short wavelength of IR light passes through the glass of the greenhouse. Inside that greenhouse, the plants try to absorb the longer wavelength, short wavelength of the IR light and becomes warmer. And again, from here, the warmed object, from that they give the longer wavelength of the light. This in turn, the glass also absorbs the long wavelength of light and it maintains a warm condition. So it gives off the long wavelength light, which mostly shines back into the greenhouse. So this is called the greenhouse effect. So it is represented here again. The greenhouse effect works much the same way on the Earth. The gases in the atmosphere, such as the carbon dioxide, trap heat similar to the glass roof of a greenhouse. These heat-trapping gases are called the greenhouse gas. The difference between polyhouse and the greenhouse. So there are plenty of terminologies used for a greenhouse. A polyhouse is a type of greenhouse that uses polythene to cover the roof and or sides of the building to let the natural light in. A polyhouse is typically smaller than a greenhouse. A polyhouse is a popular choice because it costs less to build the glass greenhouse. But the glass greenhouses were existent for longer age, so many years before the existence of the polyhouse. That's the history of the greenhouses. So in the history, it says that it starts with the Roman Empire. So the idea of growing plants in environmentally controlled areas existed in the Roman time. The Roman Emperor Tiberius, which is this bust of Tiberius is shown here, and this Roman Empire Tiberius, he ate cucumber-like vegetable daily. It is difficult to produce a cucumber-like vegetable every day for the emperor. So the Roman gardeners used artificial methods, which are almost similar to the crude form of a greenhouse, of growing to have it available for a stable every day of the year. The cucumbers were planted in wheeled carts, which were put in a sun daily. then taken inside to keep them warm at night. The cucumbers were stored under frames or in cucumber houses glazed with either oiled cloth known as specularia or with sheets of selenite, according to the description by Pliny the Elder. This Pliny the Elder, he was a Roman author, a naturalist, and a philosopher of the Roman Empire. He was also an army commander of the Roman Empire. So he was the one who has noted down these or documented these things. This is the selenite, which I have shown in the previous slide. So this is a material from the gypsum. It's taken from gypsum. This was used for the covering. So the next description was taken from a text called the Sangha Yorok. Sangha Yorok is a Korean book, Korean cookbook written in Hanja by the royal family doctor Jeon Sun. So this is a book, a cookery book written by during Korean cook. Okay, so the work was upon 1459. Also incorporates the descriptions of farming methodologies also was there. The terminology means records of farming villages. So the terminology Sangha Yorok is nothing but it deals with the records of the farming villages. So this Sangha Yorok, it's a treatise of husbandry. Husbandry is taking care of the crops, compiled by a royal physician of the Joseon dynasty of Korea during the 1450s in his chapter on cultivating vegetables during winter. So this greenhouses normally was maintained either to cultivate crops during winter or to protect the plants during the hot summer. So either for cooling or heating. This treatise, the Sangha Yorok, contains detailed instructions on constructing a greenhouse that is capable of cultivating vegetables, forcing flowering to make flowering and ripening fruit within an artificially heated environment by utilizing ondol. So ondol, I'll be showing the ondol photograph in picture next slide. This is ondol, the traditional Korean underfloor heating system to maintain the heat and humidity, and cob walls to insulate the heat, and semi-transparent oiled hanji windows to permit light penetration for plant growth and provide protection from the outside environment. The annals of the Joseon dynasty confirm that greenhouse-like structures incorporating ondol were constructed to provide the heat for mandarin orange trees during the winter of 1438. So this is the mandarin orange. So this plant was grown inside the greenhouse. The mandarin orange, also known as the mandarin, is a small citrus tree with fruit resembling other oranges, usually eaten plain or in a fruit salad. The tangerine is a group of orange-colored fruit consisting of hybrids of mandarin orange. So this is a typical picture of the ondol. So ondol is still existing in a different manner, in a more sophisticated manner. Still in Korea, instead of maintaining a central heating system, they have the floor itself underneath it to be heated. So ondol or gudyol is in Korean traditional architecture is underfloor heating similar to a can bed stove that uses direct heat transfer from wood smoke to heat the underside of a thick masonry floor. In modern usage, it refers to any type of underfloor heating or to a hotel or a sleeping room in Korean style. Next comes the development in the Netherlands and then England. The concept of greenhouses also appeared in the Netherlands and then England in the 17th century along with the plants. Some of these early attempts required enormous amounts of work to close up at night or to winterize. So mostly it was grown in these western countries to protect the plants from the harsh winter. There were serious problems with providing adequate and balanced heat in these early greenhouses. The first stove-heated greenhouse in the UK was completed at Chelsea Physic Garden by 1681. So today the Netherlands has many of the largest greenhouses in the world, some of them so vast that they are able to produce millions of vegetables every year. So this is the Chelsea Physic Garden. This was established as the Apothecaries Garden in London, England. It is like a herbal garden. This garden was set up like a herbal garden, and it was maintained by the Worshipful Society of the Apothecaries to grow plants to be used as medicine. This 4-acre physic garden, the term here referring to the science of healing, is among the oldest botanical gardens in Britain after the University of Oxford Botanical Garden. So experimentation with greenhouse design continued during the 17th century in Europe as technology produced better glass and construction techniques improved. So the alternative methods for glass have also arrived during this time. So the greenhouse at the Palace of Versailles. So this is the greenhouse. This picture shows the greenhouse at the Palace of Versailles in France as an example of the size and elaborateness. So the greenhouse in France, or the Palace of Versailles, was 150 meters in length and 13 meters in width and 14 meters in height. So this picture shows the greenhouse in the Palace of Versailles, and it's the principal royal residence of France from 1682. Then this is the French botanist. Like this, here it's mentioned about the French botanist Charles-Louis Bonaparte. He is often credited with building the first practical modern greenhouse in Leiden, Holland, during the 1800s to grow medicinal tropical plants. So originally, only on the estates of the rich, the growth of the science of botany caused greenhouses to spread to the universities. This picture shows the orangery. So this is actually an orangery. The French called the first greenhouses named orangeries because they were growing orange inside these greenhouses to protect from the freezing conditions during the harsh winter. Another sort of control condition, growth in control condition is the pineries. So down below it's given the pineries. So these pineries, they are also grown. It's in a pit called the pineapple pit. So this is the pineapple pit. So the pineapple pit is a method of growing pineapples in colder climates. Normally, these fruits are this pineapple. They are all tropical fruits. They were made to grow in a temperate areas, cooler areas inside a greenhouse. So this method of cultivation was invented by gardeners in the UK during the Victorian era. Apparently, after these Britishers, they were living in a tropical country. So this is also an orangery. Here also this is a picture of an orangery to grow the oranges. The golden era of the greenhouse was in England during the Victorian era, where the largest glass houses yet conceived were constructed as the wealthy upper class and aspiring botanists competed to build the most elaborate buildings. So in India, we can see in majority of the botanical gardens, let it be Ooty Botanical Garden or the Sims Park Botanical Garden, we can see a greenhouse there, glass house. A good example of this trend is the pioneering Kew Garden. So Kew Garden is one of the largest gardens in the world, and it's still it's one of the heritage sites in the world. So Joseph Paxton, who had experimented with glass and iron in the creation of large greenhouses, as head gardener at Chatsworth in Derbyshire, working for the Duke of Devonshire, designed and built the Crystal Palace in London, which was later constructed for both horticultural and non-horticultural exhibition. So this is the Kew Gardens here. It's shown here. The Kew Garden is a botanical garden in southwest London that houses the largest and the most diverse botanical and mycological collections in the world. And it's founded in 1840 from the exotic garden at Kew Park in Middlesex, England. Its living collections include 27,000 taxa curated by the Royal Botanic Garden, Kew, while the herbarium, which is one of the largest in the world, has 8.5 million preserved plant and fungal specimens. The library also contains 7,50,000 volumes, and the illustrations collections contains more than 1,75,000 prints and drawings of the plants. So it is one of the tourist attraction in London. This person is Sir Joseph Paxton and was an English gardener. He was an architect and member of the parliament, and he was known to design the Crystal Palace, and for cultivating the Cavendish banana, the most consumed banana in the Western world. So this is the Cavendish banana. This picture shows the Cavendish banana. And here you can see the Crystal Palace, New York Crystal Palace. So other large greenhouses built in the 19th century, they include the New York Crystal Palace, Munich, Glaserplast, and the Royal Greenhouses at Leighton for King Leopold of Belgium. So here this picture, first picture shows the New York Crystal Palace. Constructed for the exhibition of the industry of all nations in New York City in 1853. And the Glaserplast was a glass and iron exhibition building located in the old Botanical Garden, Munich, modeled after the Crystal Palace in London. The royal greenhouses of Leichen are the vast complex of monumental greenhouses in the park of Royal Castle of Leichen in the north of Brussels. The historic complex contains tropical and subtropical and cold greenhouses. The greenhouses are part of the royal park, and the royal private gardens are usually not open for visitors. So in Japan, if you see, in Japan, the first greenhouses was built in 1880 by Samuel Cocking, a British merchant who exported the herbs. In the 20th century, the geodesic dome was added to the many types of greenhouses. And notable examples are the Eden project in Cornwall, the Rodel Institute in Pennsylvania, the Climatron of the Missouri Botanical Garden in St. Louis, Missouri, and Toyota Motor Manufacturing, Kentucky. So here you can see here Samuel Cocking. He was a merchant in Yokohama, arriving in 1869, and after the opening of Japan, it means when Japan opened for the Westerners. In Japan, he is known for large greenhouses and gardens that he developed in Enoshima that bears his name. So this is the picture of the Climatron. So this is a geodesic dome. The geodesic dome is a hemispherical thin shell structure based on the geodesic polyhedron, and the triangular elements of the dome are structurally rigid and distribute the structural stress throughout the structure, making geodesic domes able to withstand very heavy loads for their size. So this is the Eden project. It's a visitor attraction in Cornwall, England, UK. So inside the two biomes, so you have so many biomes here. Your biomes are plants that are collected from many diverse climates and environments. You can grow the plants from various diverse environmental conditions. So this is a climatron. The climatron is a greenhouse enclosed in a geodesic dome that is part of the Missouri Botanical Garden in St. Louis, and initiated by then garden director Fritz W. Wendt. The dome is the world's first completely air-conditioned greenhouse and the first geodesic dome to be enclosed in rigid plexiglass panels. Completed in 1960, it was designed by T.C. Howard of Synergetics, Raleigh, North Carolina. The broad climatic range within the dome, which recreates a lowland rainforest, is achieved by sophisticated climate controls without using interior partitions. So this is a Missouri Botanical Garden. It's a botanical garden located at 444 Shaw Boulevard in St. Louis, Missouri. And it is also known informally as Shaw's Garden for founder and philanthropist Henry Shaw. Its herbarium with more than 6.6 million specimens is the second largest in North America, behind that of New York Botanical Garden. So greenhouse structures adapted in 1960s, where this is the later part, 1960s, when wider sheets of polythene film became widely available. So far whatever I've shown you is the glass houses. Hoop houses were made by several companies and were also frequently made by the growers themselves. Constructed of aluminum extrusions, special galvanized steel tubing, or even just lengths of steel or PVC water pipe, construction costs were greatly reduced. So these hoop houses, we can see when we travel towards Ooty and Nilgiris, you can see plenty of hoop houses. This resulted in many more greenhouses being constructed on smaller farms and garden centers. Polythene film durability increased greatly when more effective UV inhibitors were developed and added in the 1970s. These extended for the usable life of the film from 1 to 2 years up to 3 and eventually 4 or more years. So this is the hoop houses. The polytunnel is a tunnel typically made of steel and covered in polythene, usually semicircular, square or elongated in shape. The interior heats up because incoming solar radiation from the sun warms the plants, soil and other things inside the building faster than the heat can escape the structure. Air warmed by the heat from hot interior surface is retained in the building by the roof and the wall. Temperature, humidity and ventilation can be controlled by equipment fixed in the polytunnel or by manual opening and closing of the vent. So you can open and close the vent here. Polytunnels are mainly used in temperate regions in similar ways to glass greenhouses and row covers. Besides a passive solar heating that every polytunnel provides, every variation of auxiliary heating is represented in the current practice. The nesting of row covers and low tunnels inside the high tunnels is also very common. So this is the gutter connected greenhouses. So when 2 or 3 greenhouses are joined, that is a multi-span greenhouses, here you can see the gutter connect. It's called the gutter connected greenhouses. So the gutter connected greenhouses became more prevalent in the 1980s and the 90s. These greenhouses have 2 or more bays connected by a small common wall or row or support post. Heating inputs were reduced as the ratio of the floor area to exterior wall area was increased substantially. The gutter connected greenhouses are now commonly used both in production and in situations where plants are grown and sold to the public as well. The gutter connected greenhouses are commonly covered with structured polycarbonate materials or a double layer of polythene film with air blown between to provide increased heating efficiencies. The scope on greenhouses around the world. There are more than 55 countries around the world where cultivation of crops is undertaken on a commercial scale under cover, and it is continually growing at a fast rate. The United States of America has a total area of about 15,000 hectares under greenhouses, mostly used for floriculture, with a turnover of more than $3.4 billion per annum, and the area under greenhouses is expected to go up considerably. And the cost of transportation of vegetables from neighboring countries continues to rise. Then next is Spain and Italy. Spain has estimated about 28,000 hectares of greenhouses. Italy, it is 19,500 hectares, used mostly for growing vegetable crops like watermelon, capsicum, strawberries, beans, cucumbers, and tomatoes. In Spain, simple tunnel type greenhouses are generally used without any elaborate environmental control equipment, mostly using UV stabilized polythene film as cladding material. Cladding material is the covering material used. Instead of glass, it is the polythene. In Canada, the greenhouse industry caters both to the flower and off-season vegetable markets. The main vegetable crops grown in Canadian greenhouses are tomato, cucumbers, and capsicum. Hydroponically grown greenhouse vegetables in Canada find greater preference with the consumers and could be priced as much as twice the regular greenhouse produce. The Netherlands is the traditional exporter of greenhouse grown flowers and vegetables all over the world. With about 89,600 hectares under cover, the Dutch greenhouse industry is the most advanced in the world. Dutch greenhouse industry, however, relies heavily on glass frame greenhouse in order to cope with the very cloudy conditions prevalent all the year round. The very strong research and development component has kept the Dutch industry in the forefront. So Dutch market is Dutch greenhouse is very famous. In agriculture sector, they are very popular. The development of greenhouses in Gulf countries is primarily due to the extremity of the climate. Here, it's opposite for the hot condition. Egypt has about 14,400 hectare greenhouses consisting mainly of plastic covered tunnel type structures. Arrangements for natural ventilation are made for regulation of temperature and humidity. The main crops grown in these greenhouses are tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers, melons, and nursery plant material. Israel is the largest exporter of cut flowers. and has a wide range of crops under greenhouses, about 18,000 hectares, and Turkey 12,000 hectares under cover for cut flowers and vegetables again. Then you have Saudi Arabia, where cucumbers and tomatoes are most commonly grown. More than 94% of the total production is here. The most common cooling method employed in these areas is evaporative cooling. So here we have seen in European countries is for heating, but in Saudi Arabia it is mainly for cooling. In Asia, China and Japan are the largest users of greenhouse. The development of greenhouse technology in China has been faster than in any other country in the world. With a modest beginning in late 70s, the area under greenhouse in China has increased to 51,000 hectares, out of which 11,000 hectares is under fruits like grapes, cherry, Japanese persimmon, fig, locust, lemon, and mango. The majority of greenhouses use local materials for the frame and flexible plastic films for glazing. Most of the greenhouses in China are reported to be unheated, and the use of straw mats to improve the heat retention characteristics. Japan has about 40,000 hectares under greenhouse cultivation, of which nearly 7,500 hectares is devoted to fruit orchards. The greenhouses in Japan are used to grow a wide range of fruits, vegetables and flowers, with a share of vegetable demand being met from greenhouse production. And in South Korea, it is 21,000 hectares under greenhouse for the production of flowers and fruits. Thus, greenhouse permit crop production in areas where winters are severe and extremely cold, such as Canada and Russia. And it also permits production in areas where summers are extremely intolerable, as in Israel, UAE, and the Kuwait. In Philippines, greenhouses make it possible to grow crops despite excessive rains. So this is another extreme. Thus, in essence, greenhouse cultivation is being practiced and possible in all type of climatic conditions. While greenhouses have existed for more than half a century in various parts of the world, in India, the use of greenhouse technology started only during 1980s, and mostly for the research activities. This may be because the emphasis has been on achieving self-sufficiency in food grain production. However, currently, after the globalization of international market and shortage of food, a tremendous boost is given to export of the agricultural produce in India. This has now created a spurt in the demand for the greenhouse technology. So development of greenhouse technology in India. So in India currently, we have lots of safety standards. So the design for the various criteria to design a greenhouse. The National Committee on the Use of Plastics in Agriculture has recommended location-specific trials of greenhouse technology for adoption in various regions of the country. Greenhouses are being built in Ladakh region for extending the growing season of vegetables from 3 to 8 months. In the Northeast, greenhouses have been constructed essentially as rain shelters to permit off-season vegetable production. In the Northern Plains, seedlings of vegetables and flowers are being raised in greenhouses, either for capturing the early market or to improve the quality of the seedlings. The propagation of difficult to root tree species have also been found to be encouraging using greenhouses. Commercial floriculture ventures are coming up in Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, and Karnataka states to meet the demands of both domestic and export markets. So you can see lots of greenhouses in Hosur, in Tamil Nadu. The commercial utilization of greenhouses started from 1988 onwards, and now with the introduction of government's liberalization policies and development initiatives, several corporate houses have set up to 100% export-oriented units. So in just 4 years since implementation of the new policy, 1991, 103 projects with foreign investment of more than rupees 80 crores have been approved to be set up in the country at an estimated cost of more than 1,000 crores around Pune, Bangalore, Hyderabad, and Delhi. So that's the area under climatically controlled greenhouses of the project estimated to be around 300 hectares. Let's see a recap of today's lecture. So first of all, today I've shown you about the definition of greenhouse. Then I've told you about the history of greenhouses. Then finally, the scope of greenhouses throughout the world. And finally, the development of greenhouse in India. Thank you.